and welcome to the Homemade Podcast Sports. This is your host, Jay Pops.
And welcome back to the Homemade Podcast of Sports with your host, Jay Pops. Guys, it is Friday. It is Feel Good Friday. I got my music blasting. Of course, I had to turn it off because I had to make the show. This is a very, very special show today, okay? Because this is a message to that A&M football team, all right? So what you see in the background right here is the clip of the 2020 game versus Alabama, all right? No, I'm sorry, at Alabama. I got to stop saying it. This is the 2020 clip at Alabama last year. Y'all remember that game? I'm showing that game for a reason. 52-24 was that final score last year when they went up there to Alabama. All right, they got smoked. I'm going to be real honest with you on. They got smoked. They got the socks blown off of them. All right, but that's the score. That's the score that should have been up in the locker room all offseason. Just like how the way we done LSU that year, when they beat our behinds 52 to something, that should have been the same way going into this year. That's the score that I'm pretty sure that's blasted all across that locker room. Most of those players that are here this year, they all remember that. They all remember that. Don't get me wrong. We're going into this year not being undefeated. I know that. We're 3-2 right now. So a lot of people are counting us out. This is the reason why I'm making this one today, the day before game day. This is a message to the A&M football team. First and foremost, to all of the family members that have reached out to me ever since I've been making this podcast, and Zach Calzada's dad is one of them, Mr. Hector Calzada. I thank you so much for reaching out to me. This is what he told me. Continue to bring the support because that A&M football team feels it, okay? Continue to support them no matter what, no matter the outcome. I know they haven't looked good over the last 2 games. I know this. Really over the last 3, dating back to Colorado. They haven't really looked good. The thing that they've got out of now is that 10-point hole that they have been having. They got out of the 10-point hole, man. They're now scoring above 20 points, okay, against Power 5 teams that everybody kept on holding up in the air against them. All right? The problem is that they're going up against the number 1 team in the country now. And they have now put A&M out the rankings, along with Clemson. They're both out of the rankings. Both of these teams are 3-2. Clemson doesn't have nothing to do with this, but I was just naming another team that's 3-2. I don't even much know if Florida is still ranked after they just lost to Kentucky. So remember this here. Clemson has a top 4 roster. Kentucky has a top 7 roster. Texas A&M has a top 8 roster. All 3 of those teams are 3-2. I'm going to say that once again. All 3 of those teams are 3-2. But just know this. It's any given Saturday. All right? At one point or another, one of those 3 teams that I just named is going to show up, and their roster is going to show up with them. Okay? So I said that to say this here. Once again, this is a message to that A&M football team. And this is officially beat the heck out of Bama week anyways. A lot of people don't like to say that Bama has become a rivalry. Me, I like to think otherwise. Bama has become a rivalry ever since Johnny Manziel beat them in 2012. Ever since that 2012 game, Nick Saban has went out and recruited, just like he's been doing to stop mobile quarterbacks from gashing his team. I'm telling you what I know. All right? He will forever continue to recruit no matter what, but he went out and recruited specifically faster defensive linemen, defensive backs, everything included to stop mobile quarterbacks. Okay? Ever since that 2012 game. People don't remember that 2012 game. Texas A&M went up 21-0 in that game. I believe it was 21-0. in that game in a blink of an eye. Could nobody in the world believe that? Hell, I couldn't even much believe it. Wow. All right, on the number one team in the country at their home field. The difference is that we're on the other side looking in. Now we're on our home field. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of seeing this A&M team lose to Alabama at their home field. I'm tired of seeing this team lose to the state of Alabama, which is their two premier programs over there. I'm tired of seeing them lose at Kyle Field to both of them in the same year. All right? Got to get that monkey off your back already. Once again, I understand you're 3-2. Things like that. But so what? You have a top 8 roster, man. I've been talking about this all season into this season. Okay? The thing about it is this here. I want you guys to know that I'm behind you guys 100%. Nobody's giving y'all a chance. I'm going to say this once again. Nobody's giving this team a chance. Everybody has absolutely marked you guys off already. People are giving you guys a 7-5 season going forward. Some people are giving you a 8-4 season going forward. Some people are saying that, well, it's a possibility they might be 9-3. It's a possibility they might. But a lot of people doubt that. A lot of people are doubting you guys, man. They already marked the losses for y'all. Okay, they have already marked the losses. That's just that. The losses are there. They're going to lose these games because they believe that you guys will lose these games. Me, I'm on the other side, man. I would never follow the other bunch. I'm not a follower, man. I'm a leader. All right? I'm not going to say you guys lost until the game is actually played. That's just that. All right? And I own up to my words. That's just that. You guys got to come out and deliver. Just like I know you guys can deliver. All right? This is the reason why a lot of people marking you guys off. You don't have an offense. The defense isn't really that good neither. These are the things that these guys are saying. The defense isn't really that good. They're going to give up 30 plus points already. Defense, I'm talking to you. You guys got to carry the team. It is what it is on that part. You guys have to carry the team. Offense, you guys got to give them something to carry. You have to give them something to carry. Okay? These are the impact players that I'm looking for to have a breakout game to win this ball game. And understand this here. If these guys win this game, well, let me rephrase that. When these guys win this game, and I'm going to say it once again because I'll mark you guys to win it. All right? I like my chances. I like you guys' chances. I believe that you guys are hungry. And it's going to show up Saturday night at Kyle Field. Understand this here too. That fan base will be behind you guys 100%. Although I've heard a lot of them, putting a lot of doubts in their mind. But those guys are behind you. They have now had a third ticket pool, if I'm not mistaken, just to get to this game. Everybody's showing up for a reason. They aren't showing up to watch Alabama, man. I'm going to say that once again. They aren't showing up to watch Alabama. They're showing up to watch you defeat Alabama. That's what they're showing up. They're showing up to watch you guys defeat Alabama. Okay? You guys just have to come out there and play, baby. You got to come out there and play. You got to be ready for it. This is Bryce Young's first time being at a 100,000+ people stadium. It's not going to be 102,000 in there. It will be well over that amount because they have standing room only in there now. It will be well over that amount. People will be in there to look at you. All right? So, impact players. These are the guys that have to have a breakout game. You got to have that breakout game. I'm going to go to the defensive side. First off, defensive back. Leon O'Neal Jr. You got to have that breakout game, baby. You got to have a breakout. You got to have a monster game. Because they're coming for you. I know absolutely who they're coming for. They're coming for you specifically because you're the leader of that defense. They are going to come for you. They want to attack the leader. But like I say, because they want you. Understand this here. They recruited you as well 4 years ago. They did. They recruited you 4 years ago and you didn't sign with them. They're coming for you. And they know that they're coming for you. All right? Another defensive back. Jalen Jones. They're coming for you once again. I believe that you in particular, and I know this, I believe you in particular want John Mitchell round 2. I know you want John Mitchell again. I know you probably already talked to the coach and said, hey man, give me John Mitchell. Although that last game, was a bad game for you. That was a very bad game because I know you don't do that at all. Although you slipped on one of those plays too. I seen that. You don't give up touchdowns like that. And I know that. You're a premier shutdown corner. Live up to it. Impact the game. But I know specifically who you want. You want John Mitchell. And I know that. I know you want John Mitchell. All right. Hold it down on your end. The freshman impact player, defensive back wise. You notice how I keep on saying defensive backs? I'm saying that for a reason. Defensive back, freshman wise. Tyreek Chapel. Young man, I've seen you. Although, we lost that game against Mississippi State, I seen what you did. I seen what you did and I recognize what you did out there. All right, a lot of people might say, oh, well, that was against a lesser opponent. It's still the SEC at the end of the day. It ain't no such thing as a lesser opponent in the SEC. You guys know that now. It ain't no such thing as a lesser opponent. This is the SEC, period. You're in the hardest part, you're in the hardest division of the SEC, which is the SEC West. So SEC West comes to play ball. No disrespect to the East over there, SEC East, but the SEC West by far has the more superior talent than anything. All right, but you have to go out there, make an impact, ball out. They're going to attack you as well because you're a freshman, you're a newcomer. And it's Alabama, and that's what they do. They attack weaknesses. Where are they weak at? All right, so, which leads me into this here. Linebacker wise, Antonio Johnson, impact the game. Make it very, very disruptive. Impact the game. I'm going to leave that at that. Defensive line wise, impact player, I would not say DeMarvin Leal. I don't want DeMarvin Leal to make impact. We need others to step up. Which leads me into this here. McKinley Jackson. I need you to be that impact guy. I need you to get in that backfield more than what they thought you was going to get back there. You have to continue to get back there in that backfield and disrupt all of the plays. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I know where Alabama's weakness is. I know where Alabama's weakness is on the offensive side. It's running backs. The running back is their weakness. They got a good one now. They got a good one. Because they have a running back stable. But they're very thin. They're very, very thin. They ain't going to say that. Of course they're not going to say that. But they're very, very thin. All right. Wide receiver wise as well. That's why I say these defensive backs got to have a good one. Wide receiver wise, Alabama's weaknesses is you just don't know who's the other three. You don't know. We know about John Mitchell. We know about the guy from Ohio State. But can you be the deciding factor into shutting down what they're trying to do? Also, their weakness is quarterback. If Bryce Young goes down, who else do they go to? I'm going to say this once again. Who else do they go to? Because I don't know. I have no clue who they go to. All right? But you guys have to make Bryce Young play football out there. He's a very, very talented quarterback. He was the number one quarterback coming out. I seen the young man when he was recruited. I seen him when he committed to USC and decommitted and committed to Alabama. I seen all of that. I know what he has. Trust me, I do. Can you guys challenge him? Is the question. I believe you guys can. You got to show up with that defensive line and be a monster. All right? You got to have a monster defensive line unit going up against that offensive line. Because a lot of people will like to say, oh, well, Alabama offensive line is really, really good. They have a weakness also. You got to attack it. You have to attack it. All right? They cover up so much of their weaknesses because of their depth chart. And because they just win games. That's how they cover up their weaknesses. Nobody has exploited. Florida gave you the blueprint running football. They know you're going to try to run it. Run it anyways. You have to stick to the game plan. All right, so let's get to offensive side. Offensive side, man, skill players got to step up. The guy that's going to really impact the receiving game is tight end Jalen Watermeyer. You have to have a big game. Zach has to get the ball to you. You have to be wide open to where they're trying to blanket you at this point. And when they blanket you, it's going to leave some other people open. All right? It's going to be some other people open. So you have to stick to that. Impact, offensive line as a whole. We just need one guy. Just one guy for me. Is center Bryce Foster. You got to impact the game by snapping the ball right. I've seen a lot of snaps go over Zach Calzada's head. And he's having to go back there and get the ball. And before you know it, everybody's in his face already. I've seen a lot of that. I told you, it's just the little things that needs to be fixed. You got to snap the ball right. All right? You have to snap it to him, guys. You got to. Bryce have an impact on that. Snap the ball right. I believe Jameer Johnson will be back in this game. You got to make an impact. You're going up against a linebacker that you played against and with at Tennessee, who is Henry Toto. In my mind, I didn't know who Henry Toto was like that, because his name wasn't getting mentioned at Tennessee like that. When he came to Alabama, that's when his name started getting mentioned a lot. And it's going to be a lot of people that say I'm lying, and I'm a homer for saying it. But that is when his name started being mentioned, when he got to Alabama. That's what Alabama does. They wear the uniform and the helmet that says Alabama. So they make you think that when they come to town, oh, everybody on the team is just a monster. Once again, you got to exploit their weakness. Understand this here. Alabama has had a challenge against Florida. Ironically, Florida, once again, I go back to talent-wise, it's number 7 best talented team in the nation. They barely won that game. 2 points, but they won. Texas A&M is right behind them at number 8. Regardless to quarterback play, they're right behind them at number 8. Once again, Florida and Texas A&M, both are 3-2 at the moment. Okay? So, gotta execute. You have to execute. That leads me into the running back room. Follow the script. Follow the blueprint. Run it up the middle. Run to the sides. Spread it out. Isaiah Spiller, you have to have an impact game. You got to get you a touchdown already because you're due for one. You and A-Chain both are due for a touchdown already. You got to go and get you one. I believe that when you get that, that would knock the roof off of the building at Kyle Field, in which we already don't have a roof. But that would knock it out the ballpark. All right? Understand that game is going to be very, very loud. That's your advantage. The louder they are, the more inconsistent Alabama becomes. Okay? So you got to rally them. You got to rally them, baby. 12th man is there. You have to lean on them. All right? They're not playing the football game by all means, but they're a part of the game. You got to lean on them. Okay? So those are my impact players. And this is the yardage-wise, man. The yardage is the impact as well offensively for Texas A&M. We got to take back time of possession because that's Jimbo Fisher's style. Once again, I told you I wasn't mad at that style. That's just his style. You got to take over time of possession, baby. You got to get 4 yards a pop. You don't necessarily have to have 5. 4 yards a pop and continue to thrive in 4 yards a pop. Make those third downs very, very manageable. 3rd and 2, very manageable. Okay? Continue to do that. I guarantee you, this ball game will go in the other direction. All right? So, once again, man, it's beat the heck out of Bama. Once again, it's beat the heck out of Bama. I, for one, am not scared of them. Hey, I didn't write a loss. That's just that. I'm not writing that, hey, A&M was going to lose by this. Another thing is that everybody has predicted all of you guys, well, everybody has predicted you guys to lose by 3 touchdowns. That's how bad these guys are saying that you're going to lose by. You're going to really, really, really lose by 3 touchdowns. It's going to be, basically, it's going to be the same score it was last year. That is what everybody is saying. All right. So a couple of recruits that are going to be at this game. One of them is Walter Nolan. He'll be their number 1 recruit in the 2022 cycle. And the number 1 recruit, believe it or not, in the 2023 cycle will be there as well. Which is, let me go to his name here. Which is Labias Overton. I think that's his name. Labias Overton, 5-star defensive lineman. I'm going to say it once again, 5-star defensive lineman for the 2023 class, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he's a part of the 2023 class. He will be there as well, along with a whole lot of others. There will be a lot of people at this game, man. A lot of recruits. They're not coming to see Alabama. They're coming to see you. How will you perform? How will you stand up to the challenge? Yeah, you unranked, but how will you stand up to the challenge? That's what they're coming to see. Can they be a part of something special? All right. So once again, guys, Homemade Podcast Sports with your host, Jay Pops. Please, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button and like the podcast, man. That goes a long way, a long, long way. Shout out to everybody that supports this podcast. And if you guys haven't seen, I have a new look now where it says the Homemade Podcast Sports. And I want to thank that young man. He knows who he is. I want to thank him a lot for making that for me. All right. Once again, it's Homemade Podcast Sports with your host, Jay Pops. #GigMax.
Dope Sense.
And thank you guys for tuning in to the #Homemade Podcast Sports. Please, guys, subscribe to the YouTube page and also follow me on Twitter @JPops, on Instagram @JPops, and also on Facebook at #Homemade Podcast Sports. Thank you guys once again. #GigMax.